You know that feeling when your company just feels slow? Like it's running on some ancient, outdated operating system? Always lagging, always crashing, just not built for the modern world? Well, what if that's not just a feeling? What if that's literally what's happening? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty radical new way to think about how our businesses work, all inspired by Romano Roth's concept of the Cybernetic Enterprise.
Okay, so let's start with a pain point I think we all know too well. Almost every company out there has gone through some kind of digital transformation. You know the drill. They spend millions, they bring in the consultants, they roll out the latest buzzwords. But for so many, the deep, fundamental problems never really go away. They get stuck in what you might call the transformation trap.
And look, this isn't just a feeling. The numbers are pretty brutal. Around 70%, 70, of these massive, expensive transformation projects just fail. They don't deliver what they promised. We're talking trillions of dollars spent, and yet the real-world results are often nowhere to be found.
So what is going on here? Well, the core idea is that for years, we've just been putting Band-Aids on the problem. We've been treating the symptoms. Think about things like Agile or DevOps. Now, don't get me wrong, they're great tools, but they've often been slapped on top of a system that was fundamentally broken to begin with.
Do any of these look a little too familiar? Yeah, I thought so. These are the symptoms that just never seem to die. Backlogs that only ever get bigger. Those weird, clunky water scrum fall hybrid processes. The classic silos between business and IT that make getting anything done a nightmare. And of course, slow, top-down decisions and feedback loops that are just completely shattered. It all points to a problem that's way deeper than the tools we're using.
All right, so if treating symptoms is a dead end, what's the real cure? This is where we need a whole new mental model. We've got to stop tinkering with processes and start thinking about our company's entire operating system.
And that's really the core metaphor here. Just like your laptop, your entire organization runs on an OS. It's the underlying set of rules, structures, and protocols that dictates how everything works together. The problem is, for most companies, that OS was designed for an industrial age that just doesn't exist anymore. It's obsolete. It's time for a major upgrade.
So this is the upgrade, the Cybernetic Enterprise. At its heart, it's a blueprint for an organization that is built from the ground up to learn and adapt. The key word there is cybernetic, which is all about feedback loops. It's a system designed to constantly sense what's happening, process that information, and adjust its course in real time.
And this table just lays the difference out so clearly. You can see the shift in every single category. We go from those rigid, siloed departments to small, autonomous, cross-functional teams. We ditch the rigid top-down 5-year plans for adaptive, feedback-driven navigation. And maybe most importantly, the entire goal of the organization shifts from just cranking out predictable stuff to achieving continuous learning. That is the upgrade.
So how does this new OS actually work? Well, the good news is, it's not some 1,000-page instruction manual. Like any really elegant operating system, it runs on just a few simple, powerful lines of core code. So let's take a look at the 3 principles that make the whole thing tick. First up, and this one is huge, is a massive shift in focus. We need to stop measuring how busy we are and start measuring the impact we're actually having. It's about moving from output, just shipping features and closing tickets, to outcomes. The real, tangible value we deliver to our customers and the business.
Exactly. It is so easy to confuse activity with progress. But let's be real. Shipping 100 new features that nobody uses isn't success. It's just expensive noise. Real value is defined by the user, not by your team's velocity chart.
The second principle is all about culture, and it's a big one. It's about moving away from that old-school command and control mindset to a model that is built on trust. What this really means is empowering your people. Give them the context and the autonomy they need to solve problems, instead of trying to micromanage every little thing they do.
This quote from Jeff Bezos just hits the nail on the head. We've all been there, right? When the process itself becomes the thing. When filling out the form becomes more important than helping the customer. A culture built on trust understands that the people closest to the work usually know how to solve it best, and it gets out of their way.
And the third principle brings in technology. But notice the wording here. It's really important. It's not AI-driven, it's AI-augmented. The goal here is absolutely not to replace humans. It's about making humans smarter, faster, and more effective by weaving AI into the very fabric of how work gets done.
So think of AI as a co-pilot for everyone in the organization. It's there to help spot patterns we might miss,
to automate the tedious analysis, and to seriously accelerate those feedback loops we talked about. This isn't about setting up some separate AI center of excellence in an ivory tower. It's about making AI a core capability for everyone, helping the whole organization learn faster.
Okay, so these principles sound great in theory, right? Outcomes, trust, augmented intelligence, but principles are just ideas. They need an engine to actually make them real. So what's the practical foundation that actually powers this new OS?
That engine is something called a cybernetic platform. Now, this is the technical and the process backbone that brings all of these ideas to life. It's basically an integrated set of tools and automated pathways that makes it super easy for teams to do the right thing and really hard to do the wrong thing.
Think of it like this. The platform provides paved paths for your teams. So instead of every single team having to figure out security, deployment, or monitoring from scratch, the platform gives them standardized, automated self-service solutions. This dramatically reduces their cognitive load, it bakes in best practices from the start, and it lets those autonomous teams move incredibly fast without accidentally breaking things.
Now, when you put it all together, when you combine these powerful principles with this kind of engine, something pretty incredible starts to happen. Your organization stops acting like a rigid, slow-moving machine, and it starts to behave more like a living, learning organism. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. In the world we live in now, a world of constant change and disruption, the winners aren't going to be the biggest companies or even the ones with the most resources. The winners will be the organizations that can learn and adapt faster than the world is changing around them. And the Cybernetic Enterprise is an OS designed to do exactly that. So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own company's operating system. Is it just built to react, lurching from one fire to the next, or is it truly designed from its very core to learn?